Hi everyone, it's Grace here. Today I'll guide you through setting up your fabric to have the proper high hammock height. There are 3 methods to measure proper high hammock height, which is at your hips. Put your hands on your hips. Gesture will have the majority have their hands at the top of their hips, the iliac crest, which is underneath the waist, the belly button, navel line, and above the hip crease, the bottom of the hip bone. What is the hip crease? So find your balance here or hold on to the fabric as you lift one leg up. That same side hand will find where the leg meets your body. This crease, if you draw a straight line parallel to the ground across your body, then you'll notice that this is the hip crease. So, the most common way to measure is to stand behind your hammock underneath the plumb line and hold the fabric hip width apart, so not too wide, not too close, but just wide enough so that your thumbs touch the outer body. And from here, you'll notice that with my elbows bent and my feet planted down, that the fabric line is at the top of the hips, the iliac crest, underneath the navel, the waistline, and above the hip crease. Another way to measure, and this is a method that experienced flyers like to use, is to come onto your heels. Lift your heels, come onto your tippy toes, and push your hands down so that your shoulders are far away from your ears. This accounts for the stretchiness of the fabric. So that's why experienced aerialists like to use this method. We like non-stretch. You'll notice here that the fabric line is already at my hip crease. The third way to measure is to mindfully put one knee in at the bottom of the loop. Stand underneath the plumb line with the knee hooked in the imaginary middle point, the plumb line. Keep the hooked leg flexed or pointed, the toes, an active foot, and hands on the hips. This accounts for the stretchiness of the fabric. You'll notice here for the proper high hammock height, the thigh is parallel to the ground, the hip joint and the knee joint in one straight line parallel to the ground, with my shin perpendicular to the ground. However, some that are just trying out, first timers or beginners, practicing level 1 asanas, may prefer a lower fabric, which is okay. So, when you have this lower fabric, just make sure you're a little bit more mindful when you try your inversions in your back belt, front belt, and just do level 1 poses here, opposed to like aerial drops. So here, when I'm underneath the plumb line, holding the hammock slightly wider than my hips, the fabric is already at my hip crease, opposed to when it was at the top of my hip bone. And if I lift my heels up, it's now well below my hip crease. But as long as when you have your knee hooked and the toes pointed, hands on the hips, and the toes are off the ground, then the hammock will be high enough for those level 1 asanas. And you'll notice here that the knee joint is slightly lower than the hip joint, with the shin perpendicular to the ground. Hope this video helps you to find your proper high hammock height to ensure you have graceful flights. Thanks for watching. Namaste. See you at the next flight.